I'm here. I'm late. How is everybody? Sorry that took so long. Not only is it scheduled later today, but if you know London, Ontario, we had to come down Richmond Street from Masonville, and there's a train track there. And there was a train, a freight train, that was, I swear to God, and I'm not making this up, 25 minutes long of us waiting at the goddamn train tracks. And there's no way around. There's no way to get the fuck around. So how is everybody? Hope you're well. Sorry I took so long. Jesus. Good thing is, this episode was boring, so there's nothing to talk about. So it was going to be a shorter live anyway, probably. But anyway, I'm here now. How's it going? I'm really, really, really sorry. There's like a fucking train that should be in Saskatchewan, like 5 miles long. Anyway, I'm here now. Let's talk about the episode. I see I got a super chat somewhere up there. All right, BJ. BJ Turon throws in $5. So disappointed. Thought we would see Una for 20 years. Wouldn't see Una for 20 years. Actually, a great episode. Hope they do the character of number 1 Justice in season 2. Fleet Paw throws in $2. It was a train. Thought it was a Romulan warbird. Okay, go downstairs. Hold on. I literally walked in the door, took a piss, and I got to do other things. So just hold on 1 second. Okay, go. All right, I'm back. At least temporarily. Whew. You were having a good conversation without me, says Hypno November. Well, there you go. $20 super chat shots. I've had a beer earlier, so I'm not really drunk. But anyway, regardless. It's called Precision Railroad. Mile after mile long trains. A few wrecks blamed on train length. All right. How bad was the episode? Should I even watch? Oh, you should absolutely watch it. It's a courtroom. It's a trial. So it's up there with Measure of a Man, Court Martial, Drumhead, stuff like that. So that being said, this is my least favorite out of all of those. And really nothing happens. Yes, it's well written. Yes, there's good dialogue. Yes, there's good acting. But it's let's get that shit from last season out of the way. Let's get it done. Let's move on to something better next week. Move to new Google account and the missing badge is weird. Clone of Jonathan. Okay. Cosmo. This was the Strange New World version of Measure of Man. Yes and no. Everybody's been comparing it to Measure of Man. It's not the fucking same. Measure of Man had a good sci-fi element to it. I understand why people are saying that. Measure of Man is a better episode. Head and shoulders better than this one. This one addressed a lot of social issues, social commentary, and that's what Star Trek does really well. And that's great, but it's just kind of eh. The dress uniforms were cool, yes. Zachary was a good episode. Okay. It was that way when I lost my wrench clone. Clone Jonathan. Yeah, he took away his wrench for like a hot minute, and he got all uppity. So, anyway. Sorry. I had a thing that I had to be at, and I apologize. That's why it was scheduled later, and anyway, here. So what do you want to talk about the episode? I think I just covered it all. We've talked about it. If anybody has anything else they'd like to talk about, let me know. They definitely took inspiration from Measure of Man. We don't need a flashback to something that just happened. I didn't like the courtroom, aka Starfleet HQ. Yeah, it was Starfleet HQ from Discovery. Needed the center for the speeches. Dennis Hernandez throws in $5. Did the Connie studio model change? I don't believe so. Why? Marco, I remember Archer saying in episode North Star, the Earth surpassed bigotry, prejudice, etc. So 100 years later, having the Federation reverting to that didn't sit well with me. Yep. I love the strange new Starfleet dress uniform, says Donnie. Yeah, I do too. They're a good reimagining and a good new take on the TOS look. So, Fleet Paw, I did not get uppity. You kind of did, and I can say that because I'm the captain, and you did get uppity. This wasn't bad, but we did have to spend the whole episode. Did we have to spend the whole episode waiting for the big speech? Good Tea, Nice House. They did the social commentary in the classic Star Trek way. The message was left for us to decide and didn't spoon feed us like Disco does. Yes, I 100% agree with that. Coincidence or inspiration. The new dress colors have a similar design to the design on Khan's jumpsuit in TOS, while on also looking very Khan in red and gold. Yeah, never thought about that, but you're absolutely right. Matthew Lebner, if you went into the episode as a standalone single story, it was well done. My issue with the writing is that they're portraying some characters correctly. In my opinion, this week, Spock. Mark says, I definitely want to see flashbacks of Captain April. Cosmo, how did Pike get back with 0%? How did Pike get back with 0% oxygen left? Well, she filled the room with oxygen for him, and you would assume that she could fill his tank with oxygen as well. I don't see that as an issue. BJ said, well, it's hard for new Trek to compete with old Trek, but it was pretty good. Up there for me with Spock, Amok, and Elysian Kingdom, and No Gorn. Dennis Hernandez, $2. Secondary hull looks slimmer, neck is different. Okay, we'll have to take a look at that tomorrow when we do our full review and breakdown. Verpine, it was fine. The actors looked and sounded good, but didn't feel as weighty as other courtroom episodes. Glad they got done with it early on. Yeah, I wish it would have been a goddamn B story. A B story would have helped immensely. And I saw the length and I'm like, 57 minutes, sweet. I love when the episodes are longer. But it was longer, filled with nothing. So, it didn't destroy Canon because it was technically, was a technicality, and she asked for some. Yeah, but who gives a flying fuck if she asked for asylum? Let's be fair. She still lied on her application years prior to asking for asylum. So I have issues with that. I didn't understand why Uhura didn't want to follow an illegal order to look at personal logs when she helped steal the whole starship last episode. She didn't help do anything. She just sat there. Matter of fact, last episode, she was just as hardcore with the guy that wanted to upgrade her comm panel. And she's like, no, I got shit to do. So, Hypno Amber, Sci-Finatics had a good point that there was no B storyline which was needed for such heavy subject matter. Yeah, we say that too in our review that'll be coming out tomorrow. Cosmo, I think this qualifies as a bottleneck episode or whatever it is called to say budget bigger. That'd be a bottle show, not a bottleneck, but just a bottle show. Episode 1 was the B plot. Yeah, pretty much. Paul Hitchcock, I always felt that Archer's comment was incorrect for the time. Even during TOS, there was still bigotry. Example, Styles from Balanced Terror. Keep any bigotry in your quarters. Yes. Clone of Jonathan, a big thumbs up to the glowing lie detector of TOS. Yes, that was great. I love that. Hypno Amber, I didn't think it was good writing and a good watch. I did think it was good writing and a good watch. At times, the pacing felt slow. Hello, Matthew says they wrote dialogue for Spock that I feel He wouldn't say, aka the comment about Mbanga in the lounge, and would never make a joke in the courtroom. I disagree. I thought that was on point, especially for pre-TOS Spock. I have no problem with that. Mark says at least they didn't drag on the whole season. Exactly. That's what Discovery would have done. 57 minutes. We had more beauty shots of Pike's hair than the ship. Yeah, there were only 2 beauty shots of the Enterprise, which they were nice shots, but good tea, nice house. We got a Spock eyebrow ting moment. That was hilarious. Clone of Jonathan. So, you thought the resolution was a bit heavy, hand wavy. That was my initial thought on interpreting the rules, creativity. It was very hand wavy. It was like, oh yeah, asylum, all charges dropped. No, that would prevent Pike from getting in trouble, but I think Una would still have to face the charges that she was on trial for. It's not. Yeah, okay. Anything after Pike found out, fine, asylum. The fucking many years before that, you still lied on the application. You still knew it was wrong, and you deceived Starfleet for all those years. You should have to. Yeah, it was very hand wavy. Jamie, that was just giving them a way to save face after the Jag went after Pike and couldn't force a loss in confidence in command for top starship captains. Marco, yes, about Uhura and not following illegal orders. She still has a lot to learn about cowboy diplomacy. She will later on in her career, yes. Me no other. DS9 had bigotry, augments, aliens, and the zero-grav alien. Repic 122. The closest thing to a B-plot was Noonien Soon's struggling with her own history. Very slate B-plot. Yeah, it's an A.5 plot. By the way, guys, hit like. We have 63 of you here and 44 likes. Let's try to get up to 50 likes. That's another 6 likes. We can easily do that. Keep the super chats coming. It is $20 super chat shots. I do have some Crown Royal Apple, which I would love to partake in. Actually, I'm going to have one right now without a $20 super chat. But anyhow. Cheers. Leepa says, I was impressed with the return to commentary on social issues. It was a cautionary tale combined with a courtroom drama. I liked it. Una should have been demoted, I'd say, as punishment. I wouldn't say demoted. I would say shuffled off to Starfleet headquarters behind a desk. Give her a Commodore rank. Keep her rank as it is. But she shouldn't have just beamed aboard the Enterprise like nothing happened. That bothered me. She impressed the top brass with her ideals of Starfleet. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, I can do the same thing. I could lie and say, oh, I wanted to be a part of something better than myself. Drop all the charges, please. Just felt a little iffy. Come on now. She made Starfleet feel guilty. She made the judge and stuff feel guilty for Starfleet's ideals. And Starfleet, yes, in that situation, had fucked up. I love how they say the Federation rules on this are draconian. They fucking absolutely are. So, yeah. Was she seeking asylum, or if her life was really in danger? I don't think that lying to the United Federation of Planets is all that big a deal if someone's actually going to kill. Nobody was going to kill her. She just didn't want to keep lying to her crew, her friends. Anyway. William Erazo, who cares about a B-plot? A fucking lot of people. That's one of the reasons that a lot of the TNG episodes, or a lot of just Star Trek episodes in general, don't work, especially early TNG, seasons 1 and 2, is because they don't have a B-plot, and the fucking A-plot sucked. There are other episodes later on down the road of DS9, TNG, Voyager, that the main plot wasn't that fucking great. But you know what? The B plot was fantastic and funny, so it really equaled out and made the episode much better as a whole. B plots are important, and sometimes you get B plots and C plots, which again adds to the overall episode. Plus, you get more character development that way because the B plot and C plot are about another character. Who cares about B plots? A lot of fucking people. That's who. Stranger Worlds is approaching the TOS look a little updated, but visually. Yes. My issue with her this week is 1 week, no issues, stealing the Enterprise, and next week, won't look into personal loss. She didn't steal the fucking Enterprise. She went along with it. And like I said, last week, she didn't want the guy to update her panel because she had her work to do, and she held her ground. So I don't see the problem there. I love the lawyer, though. She was in your face, but not overbearing. Yes. Mina Weather says, can't wait for Trekyards uniform. Compare even the yellow pad compared to the glowing circle for swearing oath. Yes, we will have videos coming out about that, of course. Cosmo, not knowing if the person who should have had that position would do the same. Grant McGregor, $20. There you go. No need for shot. I think the director did a better job this episode than the last one, but few things I would change, like saying she's guilty, but no sentence of punishment. You know what? I'm going to still have a shot because this Apple Crown Royal is friggin' good. So thank you, Grant. Much appreciated. Skynet. Followed up immediately by Peter Lukaku. $20. Cheers to the implosion crew of the Titan Aristocats meeting their ancestors. That's a sad state of affairs, but better than the alternative of them like slowly suffocating to death. So that's a whole other discussion. Anyway, cheers. Thank you very much, Peter Lukaku. Terrence Childs, glad she put it the way she did. The Federation should have a mirror held up to itself every once in a while. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. I think the Federation is way out of line in this regard. So, William Arezzo, so Starfleet don't do genetic identification for applications. I guess not. B plots, bring on the C plots. Star Trek says it's a good thing they oft Arium with all her augmentation and android parts before this episode. You're not wrong. BJ says best B plot is Geordi working all episode to fix the transporter in the double Riker episode, the one with Thomas Riker. Hypno Amber, the bronze wall art in the courtroom was very 60s inspired. Oh yes, absolutely. Matthew Lebner, I agree, Captain, being too critical episode. They used the 60s chairs. Yes. BJ says the ship's lounge had TOS chairs. Peter Lukaku, not cheers, but respectful to their plight of an experimental ship. Okay, we're not talking about the Titan right now. Which is ironic because it was going to look at the Titanic, which is Titan with an IC at the end. But anyway, we're not talking about that, Peter, so let's just drop that. I talk about it later near the end of the stream when we've kind of talked out about the episode. Let's put it that way. I don't know if it's new, but I like seeing the painting of the NX-01 in the common area in the Enterprise. It is not new. It was there all last season, but they had it lit really weird. Same with the Phoenix.
Do you want me to put the onesie on Dotsie's?
Yes. Love you.
Love you. Who wants to come downstairs? Come on. You can get a treat.
Anyway. Yes, they were there all last season, but they were lit weird, and you could barely see them, but you could see them in episodes. There's the NX-01 on one side and like the Phoenix on the other side. Now they're lit properly, thank God. I don't know if you know the liquor called Amarula. damn tasty and looks like canard. Not sure. Agreed, it might have been premature to claim humanity surpassed prejudice completely, but this felt almost like internment camp, and that didn't feel like the Federation, in my opinion. Yes, that's one of the things that bothers me about it, too. Northwest Rail fan, neat to see the NX-01 and Enterprise opening a ship in the conference room. Rapik 122, I was glad they were using the 2250s floppy disk. Yes, that was fucking great. Glad they allow cyborg parts, but no augment DNA. Kaiser Dragon, Captain, did you notice that the Crossfield class last episode looked like an NX era Poseidon class? Yes. Yes. Admiral on deck, kind of. She just had a shower because she just got back and she had her hair all frizzed because she did a Bonnie Tyler lip sync, and she also did Rocky Horror Picture Show Time Warp, and they won. The Time Warp won. So anyway, that's what she had, her hair all frizzed out to be Bonnie Tyler, so she had to like get all the hairspray and shit out of it. She's XO of a Star Cruiser and is only a Lieutenant Commander. Spock was a full commander in TOS, same with Riker in TNG. I think that's fine from Real World Navy, but it's surprising. But there are times where Kirk refers to Spock as Lieutenant Commander, so. Peter Kako, it's nice to see an episode where it's not all ship shots in action. Not really. Not really, Peter. I kind of disagree with you there. I prefer that, honestly. This was fine. This was a good courtroom drama, 100%. Like I said, it's up there with Measure of a Man, Drumhead, Court Martial. But I'd rather watch all three of those and any other courtroom one. The one where Riker's on trial for murder is also way better than this one. This was just sort of a little bit boring, let's be honest. Fleet Pal says Spock started out as Lieutenant Commander in TOS as well. Yeah. Joseph, it's a jump to the left. I'm not going to do it. I hate the time. I hate the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Personally. Sylvia looked fantastic on stage, though, I gotta say. I got video of her doing the Bonnie Taylor thing and the Time Warp. So, if I didn't have this live tonight, I would be downstairs right now in the bedroom. That's all I'm saying. But, here I am. Plus, there were several other instances of full captains with it. Commander XOs, Cisco was one, Shelby, Chakotay, and others. Hypno Amber, the separation thing wasn't a Starfleet thing. It was a colony that decided to do that and that they could remain in the Federation. But the Federation didn't do anything about that because of Prime Directive. Mark, it showed you don't have to have things go boom. Kaiser Dragon, I like Pike's captain's girlfriend. Yes, Captain Patel, I think is her name. Jamie, one issue would be how did the JAG know what Pike did? A good lawyer never asks a question you do not know the answer. Don't know what you mean. Peter Lukaku, $5. Did the captain quarters get bigger? It's like a penthouse suite in Vegas. No, I think it's the same size. Northwest Rail fan, the preview clip for next week is interesting. Return of the temporal agents. Ooh. Paul Hitchcock. I think Spock was Lieutenant Commander in the first season of TOS. I believe he identifies himself as such in Court Martial. I believe you are correct. Starch Wreck. This episode needed more. Isn't it possible? Sound like the guy from the narrator from Ancient Astronauts. Is it possible? Could it be? Yes, all the above, sure. Terrence Childs, I'd like to see some more of the Prometheus class. Okay. Fleet Paw says, I don't like Pike's girlfriend anymore. I do. I still think she's good. She was just doing her job. Same with In Court Martial, where the one lady was going after Kirk, and they had a history together. I think that's fine. What's your opinion on Nira defense? I don't know what a Nira defense is, so. Bacasta, the fantasy episode and the episode with Captain Angel were my favorites. Oh yes, I know what you mean. Those are both really good. The Kingdom of Elysium is the one, and the other one is... Can't remember. Good tea, nice house throws in $5. Did anyone else notice the aliens on the mural in the courthouse? If so, why was there Ferengi standing with a Tellarite, Vulcan, and a human? I didn't notice that, but we will take a look at that tomorrow during our live breakdown and review. Mark says, a lot of lieutenant commanders get referred to as just commander. Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. That's a big thing in TOS, or TNG, I mean. Lieutenant commanders get called commanders all the time. Better calm Nira. Jamie, I think the JAG had to have evidence on Pike that he could not use in court, just a theory. What's the JAG you're talking about? There was no JAG officer. That was like the criminal defense, or the criminal prosecutor guy. This is not the fucking Navy. There's no JAG officers. And no, I don't think he had evidence on Pike. He had suspicions, but no evidence. Matthew Lebner, Mark, they were different alien species, not sure which, but good eye. Bacasta, did you know Illyrians have rights? The Constitution says you do. That Constitution class? Fleetpaw says she proves she's not really a good lawyer here, Kaiser Dragon, and she got called out for it in court by her boss. It lessened her character. She's still hot, though. She's not really a good lawyer. How is she not a good lawyer? Hypno Amber, I noticed the mural in the courtroom and loved the 60s design. I didn't notice what aliens were in it yet. The Galaxy's Thumb. Hello, Truckies. Hello. Yes, definitely attractive. Paul Hitchcock, I think they used the term JAG at the beginning of the episode. Could be wrong. I think you're wrong. I've watched it only twice now. I usually watch it 3 times by now, but we were quite busy earlier today and couldn't have a chance to rewatch it with Sylvia. But I did do the closed captioning, and no, they don't use the term JAG. Northwest Rail fan, wasn't she supposed to be a ship captain in season 1 premiere? Yes, she is a ship captain. Matthew Lebner, I don't think she's a lawyer. Isn't she a captain of a ship, or am I totally wrong? She is the captain of a ship. So that kind of confused me too, why she was doing the lawyering, unless she's decided to change her profession. I don't know. Peter Lecaco, $5. I'm still against the animation of space shots. It feels like the Enterprise is Franklin Mint. Okay, sorry to hear that. Hi, Peppers. Hey, move. Lay down. I know, you haven't had a chance to say hi to me because I came in the door and ran straight upstairs. Anyway. So yeah, my estimation, this is an all-right episode. I think it's very well written, very well acted, and a fantastic piece of television. 100%. It's just not a good Star Trek episode, in my opinion. It's just a fantastic piece of courtroom drama. Hypno Amber, Steve Shives has a funny video about being a Starfleet lawyer, so good. Yes, I've seen that one. It is funny. Repic 122. My impression is Starfleet probably has a shortage after the Klingon War of personnel, so certain captains are also advocates and lawyers. I mean, that's a possibility. I wouldn't take that to the bank or anything. I want to take this shirt off because it's a little bit for... Two shirts. Put that right there. But yeah, for me, this episode was kind of boring. I think it was overlong. It could have definitely benefited from having a B plot. But all in all, I think it flowed together pretty well. The pacing wasn't bad. I wouldn't say it suffered at all. It just kind of dragged on a little bit. That being said, it didn't quite feel like the length it was. It did seem to go by pretty quickly, so that's always a good sign. But honestly, I don't have much desire to rewatch this one. You know, anyway. What would make it a great Star Trek episode? Well, first of all, I don't like Una. I'm not a big fan of Rebecca Romaine Lettuce, or whatever her name is, Rebecca Romaine. I can't really stand her, and her character is so blah in this show. It would be better if it was a different character. And give me more ship shots. I don't care if they're just static shots. Like they had 2 of them in this episode. That's great. Is that shallow of me? I mean, a lot of people will think so. But I don't know. Something about it just didn't strike me as a good Star Trek episode. I don't know how I would fix it. Measure of Man was much more Star Trek-esque in its delivery and its premise, and it's storytelling. So, Fleet Pod, does it rank up there with City on the Edge of the River and the Picard Fleet episode? Good TV, but not Trek. Yes, 100%. 100%. It is a great Law and Order episode, or a great whatever, courtroom drama. 100%. You take off the Star Trek veneer, and it's still fantastic. It's well written, it's well acted. It's dressed up with Star Trek stuff. And even the fact that she's an augment isn't that big of a deal. I can see why people are comparing it to Measure of Man for that reason, but it could be, you could take that away and you so easily rewrite just a couple words to make it totally non-related to Star Trek. So that's kind of where I sit with it. Am I wrong? Possibly. You may think so, and that's fine. But that's my opinion, and you're entitled to it. So, Paul Hitchcock. I like Steve Shives, but his anger towards Picard season 3 annoys me. But overall, I like his stuff. I like his stuff most of the time. Not all the time. He doesn't give a shit about Canon, which pisses me off, but whatever. It is what it is. Still a talented guy. His videos are pretty fun to watch generally, so. Monty Reber. Riker was the prosecutor in Measure of a Man. Yes. BJ Turan. Kirk is in the next episode as Captain of the Enterprise. Okay. See, Disco is a separate timeline. Star Trek says, you don't think City on the Edge of Forever isn't a good Trek? Honestly asking. No, Paul, I don't. Okay. People are like, what are the best episodes of TOS? What's the best episode of TOS ever? The City on the Edge of Forever. No, it's not. It's fucking fantastic sci-fi. It is great. The original premise and the outline for it was much better, and it was written without Star Trek in mind. It was given a Star Trek skin. You could take out Kirk and fucking everything about Star Trek in that episode and still have the same story premise, but you don't need Star Trek. Same with Inner Light. Inner Light has fuck all to do with Star Trek. Yes, he gets knocked unconscious for like a minute and lives a whole lifetime in that minute. There you go. There's your sci-fi premise, but it doesn't have to be Star Trek. And it's fantastic sci-fi. It's great storytelling, a fantastic piece of fiction, a fantastic piece of sci-fi, fantastic piece of television. but it is not in any way the best episode of Star Trek TNG. Not even up there in the top 10 for me. For best, one of the best written episodes, sure, it would move higher up on that list. But it's not good Star Trek. It's just fantastic sci-fi. Let's see. Donuts would make a great episode. Sure. Jamie, I did like Measure of a Man much more. Me too. Matthew Lebner, no Kirk is captain of the Farragut next episode. Look at his insignia on the shirt and the chair is wrong. Fleetpaw says you could take the plot and put any other show characters in it. It wouldn't be Trek anymore. Paul Hitchcock. It's a good episode, but not Trek. Yeah. Peter Lukaku, we done with this episode yet? Because it was a Matlock episode. You going to see Dial of Destiny? I might see it. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters necessarily, but BJ Tehran, TOS always had the ship shot and music as the interludes between scenes. Yes, as you should. And a captain's log or something. Kirk can't be captain yet, right? I don't know. BJ Tehran, measure of a woman. Una is 6. Una's tall. Okay. Old Atari gamer. The problem is that Pike knows what his future is, so he knows he will not be convicted. And we know that number 1 won't be either. We don't officially know what happened to number 1, though, so. Gene Owalski Jr. Oh, Captain, you're biased against number 1 as well. You're biased against number 1 is well known, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't care. I make no qualms about who I like and who I don't like character-wise. And when they impress me, or when an actress or an actor that I don't like impresses me, I call it out. I didn't like Lon Noonien Singh. I didn't like that actress for the first, couple episodes of Stranger World Season 1. Now I think she's fucking fantastic. She's definitely grown on me as a character, and she's proven herself. And my thoughts have changed. I have no problem. Rebecca Romaine, I've never liked her. She's never been good in anything. She was fine as Mystique, I guess. But, and the character of Una is just so underused in season 1. There's so many opportunities they could have added a line or two for her, and they fucking didn't. I call it like I see it. You might not agree with me, but that's how I see it. And I'm gonna put my opinions on the line, and I do change my opinion. I see things differently after a time, a lot of times, and I'm willing to admit that I was wrong, or I'm willing to admit that my opinions changed. I'm a living, breathing, growing, adapting human being, and my thoughts change. It's that simple. It's not fucking rocket science. But I'll tell you like it is. You come here to hear my thoughts on things. You don't come here to hear me spoon feed you what you want to fucking hear. You come here to hear my thoughts on things, whether you agree with them or not. I don't really care. I'm here laying out what I think about something, and a lot of times you guys have even changed my mind about things. Maybe even in one live stream, you would change my opinion from the beginning to the end. And that's what being a human is about. Being willing and being flexible enough to adapt and change. And that's what conversations are about. To talk to people in a reasonable way that might change your opinion of something. Anyway. You know, the best episode of Trek is Cat's Paw. Hypno Amber. Honestly, courtroom dramas are my least favorite, even though I love some of the dialogue and the acting. It's some of the best for Star Trek. But I love space adventures and science stuff. Followed by Shades of Grey. Peter Lukaku, $5. Newkirk is terrible, not as near as animated as Shatner was, and no confidence so far. Sylvia G. That's my Sylvia. Do you have the dogs? Yes, I have all 3 of the dogs. Good night, honey. I love you. Fleetpaw, Shades of Grey was Shades of Grey. Good tea, nice house. Fistful of Datas is Star Trek at its best. Yep, I said it. Throw me out an airlock. Not at its best, but damn good. Matthew Lebner, out of curiosity, what is your best episode of the original series? Me? Well, to pick a best, I fucking hate that because I can't. There's too many good ones. One of my favorites, though, is the Enterprise incident. Enterprise incident, Balance of Terror, Doomsday Machine, The Ultimate Computer. Those are just a few. So there you go. Fleet Paw says, and La'an looks stunning in that dress uniform of hers. She did. Old Atari Gamer, number one was in the cage, so we know wouldn't be convicted in a court martial. Old Atari Gamer, the cage happened like 2 or 3 years prior to this. The cage happened before season 2 of Discovery. If you paid attention to Discovery season 2, which a lot of people probably didn't, the cage happened prior to that. So no, we don't know what happens to number one. Captain's Rats supplemental. Shea Locomotive Productions. La'an is always fire. Bad question, Mike Hewlebner. He hates those questions. Defiant Mr. River Productions. The cage was in 2254. This is 2260. Yes. Paul Hitchcock. Thanks, Captain and Fleet Paw, for responses. I've never been on the Inner Light fan train. I've always been a Best of Both Worlds Part 1 as the best episode of TNG. Best of Both Worlds will probably be in the top 10. Like, what's your best episode of TNG? I don't fucking know. There's a lot of great episodes of TNG. Actually, I think one of my favorite episode of TNG would be yesterday's Enterprise. Yeah, that'd be my favorite episode of TNG, would be yesterday's Enterprise. Way better than Best of Both Worlds. It is okay to be different. Yes. The cage took place 4-ish years before this, so yes. Star Trek. I come for when Foley gets drunk, shirtless, and wants to fight. I almost never want to fight. Shirtless depends on my mood. And drunk, I've never really been that drunk. Anyway. Wise words, Captain. Old Atari Gamer. Oh, that is right. My mistake. No problem. Matthew Lebner. Land it is because it encapsulates what Gene Roddenberry and the writers tried to put out as their vision of something else. Oh, the Admiral says good night. Good night, sweetie. I love you. See you when I come to bed. William Erazo. Do you think these writers don't know how to write for ensemble casts and writing stories for multiple characters in a 1-hour story? Your thoughts? For Discovery, I would say that's the case. For Strange New Worlds, I wouldn't. They already have much more of an ensemble cast than Discovery ever had. So, no, I think they're fine writing ensemble cast pieces. And not every episode has to be a fucking ensemble cast episode, to be fair. So, no, I don't think so. Discovery is a different story, though. Terrence Childs, that's telling him, Captain Foley. Spock's brain. Spock's brain's not as bad as everybody says it is, and is not the worst episode of TOS. I think the worst episode of TOS would have to be like Gem and the Holograms. Gem, fucking, I don't remember. Whatever that fucking episode is with Gem. I fucking hate that episode. Fucking truly awful. BJ Turon, the flags in Starfleet HQ were great. Terrence Childs, I think Venom Geek Media made his return Monday. I'm not sure. I forgot the day of the week he debuted back on. I know it was sometime this week. I do think it was Monday. Trevor the Dragon. Do you think they will bring back the temporal timeline from Enterprise? No. No way, Jose says, I will say Strange New World is way better. Is way, way, way better than Discovery. Discovery just started getting weird after season 2. I'm gonna have another fucking drink to calm this fucking cough. God damn. I just saw Ethan Peck in the movie In Time with Justin Timberlake. He was a security guard. Avenue Pad just finished watching Ad Astra. What an episode. That's a summation, sure. Shea Locomotor Productions. Yes, Strange New Worlds is way better than Disco. Defiant Mr. Raven Productions. Operation Annihilate. Pretty good. Enterprise Incident. Yes. Balance of Terror. Yes. Mirror Mirror. Yes. Ultimate Computer. Yes. Patterns of Force. Nah, not a big Patterns of Force fan. Doomsday Machine. Yes. Journey to Babel. Journey to Babel is on my upper half of favorite episodes, but not anywhere near the top 10. Verpine, I think that the writers subconsciously are writing Spock more as the first officer, so number one gets pushed in the background and feels like a third wheel. I think you're right. William Arazo, yeah, yesterday's Enterprise is S tier. Mr. Captain 93, good evening, Cap. Did this episode remind you of the TNG where Data was in court regarding his status? No, it fucking did not. It is not. It didn't remind me of Measure of Men at all, except that it's a courtroom episode. It reminded me more of Court Martial because of the visuals of the TOS-ness of it. I get why people are like the augment and artificial life form analogy, but I didn't think that once watching it, so. Shea Locomotive Productions. One of my favorites is Assignment Earth. Assignment Earth is good. Is Discovery done? They have one more season, but then they're canceled, yes. So they got one more season, and then they're done. Paul Hitchcock, yesterday's Enterprise is definitely top 5 for me. Season 3 of TNG is just super strong in general. Yeah, absolutely. Fleet Paw says 60 watching here and 59 likes. Let's get to 75. I know some of you haven't hit that like button yet. We're at 60 now, which I asked for like fucking forever ago. Fleet Pod just gave you a goal of 75. If you haven't hit that like button, hit the like button. Mr. Captain 93. Empath is a bad episode. A Piece of the Action is a great episode. Empath. That's the one that that's the gem and the holograms one. Gem. I don't fucking know. I've seen it maybe 3 times. I don't care for the episode at all. It's fucking dumb. But yes, Piece of the Action, fantastic. The Empath bored me silly as a 70s kid. Yep. Verpine, the Turnabout Intruder has to be up there for worst TOS episodes. Yes, but I love the premise in it, and I love a lot of the moments in it. So, but yeah, it's on the lower. God damn it, it's on the lower end for sure. Peter Lukaku, I'm glad they respected the military ranks of the uniforms from TOS. Right? Hypno Amber, I totally agree that Una is written like a third wheel. Her character is flat and more like a background character. Yes, absolutely. It's one of my biggest problems with her. Terrence Childs, you might want to try drinking cough syrup instead of liquor and see if that helps. I'll get there. Mr. Cap 93, will we get a video on the new uniforms? Look who you're talking to. Yes, you will. It'll be Sunday's video, if I recall correctly. Next week episode looks good with Kirk and the captain's chair. Pila Kako, don't tell me when you like it. Don't tell me when to like Fleet Paw. I'll like what I want to. What? Why is Fleet Paw telling you what to like? What are you talking about? Ozzy, Peace Action comes on Tuesday. Fleet Paw says my favorite. Oh, sorry. You'll like what I tell you to like. You'll like what I tell you and you'll like it. Kaiser Dragon, my favorite TNG season is season 2 because it has Pulaski. Ooh, hot take. Nice. Terrence Childs, how old do you think Spock is? He's got to be in at least under 50. He's like 30. He's like 30 something in TOS. He's not old at all. Fleet Paw, in Strange New Worlds, he's like 20s or early 30s, Terrence. He's not that old yet. Paul Hitchcock watched some old Nimoy interviews, and his least favorite TO episode was Spock's brain. Okay. And that makes it automatically the worst episode of TOS. Matthew Lebner. Not sure if it is officially counts, but one of my favorite Trek episodes is What Ships Are For. From Star Trek Continues to Boldly Go. Not, that doesn't count. That's something different. BJ says, all ready for Strange New World Season 2 art book? Of course, I love art books. Mr. Cap 93, the moment between Erica and the Doctor was hilarious. Her commentary with Spock and the Vulcan prosecution was awesome. One of my favorite scenes. I'm sorry you had to witness that outburst. It's like, okay. Terrence Childs, I never hesitate to hit the like button whenever your podcast comes on. Thank you so much for reminding me, though. No problem. Can you stop opening and closing doors, please, and just pick one? Why you gotta go in and out of the doors all the time? Fucking kids. 15 times in and out of his room, into the bathroom. Defiant, Mr. Raven Productions. By the time of Lower Decks and Prodigy, Spock is way closer to his dad, Agent TOS. Star Trek. T'Pol was in her 60s in Enterprise. Spock in Undiscovered Country was roughly the same age. That's some city miles. Matthew Ledner, can you send a link to the podcast? Didn't realize you had one. I don't have a podcast. Everything you see here could be listened to as a podcast, I guess. BJ says, number one was a favorite of mine. Love the Cage. So Una has been a great disappointment for a non-captain woman lead. Instead of Disco, they should have done Strange New Worlds, Pike's Enterprise through number one's eyes. That would have been great. And probably would never have sucked as much as Discovery. Peter Lukaku, no one's gonna talk about how Pike's hair is almost as cool as Captain Foley. Listen, I am not anywhere near the same coolness as Pike's hair. I wish my hair was as epic as Pike's hair. But it's not, neither am I. It's been so long since we've had a quiet. Yeah, I didn't feel like yelling quiet because he wasn't talking to his friends and me, the dipshit. He was just going in and out of his room, banging doors. His door, then the bathroom door. Then the bathroom door, then his door. A couple minutes later, his door, then the bathroom door. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Go take a shit, take a piss, fucking jerk off, do whatever you need to do in the bathroom, then go get a drink of water while you're in there, and take it back to your room. You don't have to fucking do it 15 times. Like, how fucking difficult is that? And it's... Anyway, Urz says, when I was reading through some of the comments, and couldn't hear you talk, Captain, almost thought I lost connection. And now we know, kids. Oh yeah, if I ever get quiet and just like, I'm debating whether I should like yell at him, go like fucking talk to him. I just want him out of my fucking house. He's almost there. We're almost there. We're in the home run. He's 18. He's gonna be fucking out soon. Fleet Paw, $2. Quiet. Just pick a fucking door. Good tea, nice house. The lowest moment on screen in a Star Trek episode or film was the reveal of the burn. Disagree. I thought the burn was a fucking great reveal. Everybody fucking disagrees with me and Sam on that, but it's so innocuous. It's such a weird thing, and it fucking worked as a reveal. No problem with that at all. Peter here, same here, Fleetbot. They take it for granted. What, hair? Yeah, I got awesome hair, and I'm going to continue to have awesome hair. Take a sword and stab him. It's a little harsh. Defiant Mr. Raven Productions. I had to shave my head today. Bald spot was way too big. I'm 34. Damn you, jeans. Fleet Paw, got you beat, Defiant. I'm 33 and started losing mine at 18. Oh, that's gotta fucking suck. Okay, no wonder the male balding industry is like so huge. Yeah, I would have been devastated if I was starting to lose my hair at 18. Here I am at 49. Look at this beautiful hair. But I'm not, my family's not, you know, predisposed to it, so. I just need another fucking drink. Just need a drink. Shay, look at my production. I've been losing my hair since I was 15. And Defiant says 17. Bring it on. Ozzy says, got you all beat. I'm 58 now. Damn, you old, son. Fleet Paw says, you won't slam doors after you chop an arm off or a leg. Hypno Amber. Hypno Amber says, my middle spawn got the bad DNA. He's 19 and starting to lose his hair like my dad. Oh no. Star Trek, my favorite dumb scene in Discovery is when Burnham shot the fire alarm with a phaser instead of shooting the lady trying to steal her boots in the Jeffries tube, sending the bad lady into space. Yes, the Discovery Die Hard episode. Matthew Lebner, $10. Sending you a half shot tonight, Captain. Thanks for another enjoyable hangout tonight. Early morning here. Looking forward to your breakdown in the days ahead. I will use that $10 for a half shot. Sure. BJ says, bad news, Captain. I'm 41 and still with my parents. Even they signed over the house and my sister. It doesn't mean all my other kids are out. He's getting out too. We got a rule here. Like once you hit a certain age, get the fuck out of my house. He's at that age where he wants to move in with a friend, have a roommate, and get their own place. And he makes enough money doing construction and stuff to do so, so get the fuck out of my house. It's pretty simple. It's my house. Get out. Fleet Paw said, neither is mine. That's the problem. Mom's dad died at 49 with a full head of her black hair. I thought it said back hair for a second. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm half bald and graying already. Oh, I'm graying a little bit, but you can't tell because I've always been dirty. I was like a golden blonde when I was young, and then it turned into a dirty blonde, and now it is gray. It's actually silver fox, or silver bush if you watch Grandma's Boy. Anyway, so in certain lighting you can see the gray. You can see some gray streaks, but overall I'm pretty gray. You just can't really tell. Peter the Coco throws in $10. Episode was, I didn't finish. I didn't have that half shot. There we go. Peter the Coco says, episode was a 5 out of 10 for me. I was on my phone the whole time. Nothing sucked me in, which is bad this early into the season. No, it's not bad. They're getting it the fuck out of the way so that all the good shit can come after. I hope we see T'Pring again this season. Oh, I'm sure you absolutely will. Urs says, I still got all my hair, 37 here, and we are all of Core's cap. We ended up in a hairy nebula. Well, Will, I was typing this. We were able to get out. I was so confused. Terrence Shell, hey Captain, I have a question for you. Have you seen the new Extraction? The new Extraction yet on Netflix? No. Matthew Lebner, good night, fellow Trekyardians. See you all on Discord. See you later, Matthew. More Pring would be nice. Fleet Paw says, ugh, New York State tax bullshit. I hate it. I'm laughing my ass off. I still live with mine, but I pay monthly rent and do errands for them as they're older and disabled. Ozzy says, and the Gorn, for some reason. Good tea, nice house. Does anyone know the air dates of the crossover episode? It's episode like 6 or 7, I believe. So it's, I'm going to figure out how many weeks away that is. Fleet Paw, some July sometime. Good tea. I think it's episode 7 or 8. Oh, there you go. Without money from my sister and I, Mom and Dad would be much worse off financially, likely not retired. Well, Starch Wreck, don't worry, all the hair you lose just grows in different places, like your ears and back. I have no back hair, I have no chest hair. So I do have a little bit, like 1 or 2 like ear hairs, which I don't understand and really absolutely fucking despise because they're hard to trim. But it is what it is. Liquor isn't helping your cough. None. No, it's not. And you've mentioned that already, Terrence, so I appreciate it, but I'll do what I want to do. Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate it. So anyway, I apologize for being late with this live tonight, but I had a good reason. Getting stuck behind a fucking train for 20 minutes wasn't one that I anticipated, but because I would have been perfectly on time if it wasn't for that train, because we had left in good time and blah, blah, blah. But whatever, it is what it is. Let's stop acknowledging the cough. If we don't acknowledge it, it will go away. It's true. No problems count. He's just running out of oxygen. He needs a refill. Yes. Analysis of sci-fi. Is it just me, or was this episode about disabled rights? No. This was about like identity rights, gender, like transgender people. It was about racial things. They mentioned apartheid. They mentioned slavery. They specifically mentioned gender, which I think is one of the main things they were going for. Yeah, this covered a lot of bases in that regard. So, trains here should get the Swiss train schedules timely like a Swiss watch. Project Achieva, I just got an ad for Belgian-style Eggo waffles. Well, that's not my fault that you got an ad. I just got to say. Peter the Cocker, what was your favorite display at Wonderfest? Favorite display. I don't know about display necessarily, but one of my favorite models was the Jews in Space, the History of the World Part 2. They had the Jews in Space ship, the six-sided star. That I think was one of my favorites. John Eves asked me the exact same question, which was my favorite, and I said the Jews in Space ship, and he agreed with me. So suck it. I hear a train coming. It's coming around the bend. Fleetpaw, don't worry. I kept them entertained as best I could. They paid me to put my clothes back on. That's why there was only one super chat. A $5 one. You're a cheap cheap bastard. Fleet Paw, you don't demand much. I understand. Shea Locomotive Productions' Best Wonderfest display was a model of the Super X2 from Godzilla versus Biolante, in my opinion. Cool. Says the credit live stream a few days ago was awesome. The credit live stream? What do you mean credit live stream? Fleet Pause sharing my 2 Wonderfest videos. There you go. Analysis of sci-fi. Well, but still a great episode. Yeah, it was a great episode, and I understand why a lot of people love it. A lot of people are saying this is the best episode of Star Trek ever. 10 out of 10. I'm like, the fuck did you watch? I don't understand some people. Anyway, Urs says, is Scrooge... Fleet Paw is Scrooge McDuck. Fleet Paw says, I'm a cheap bastard, LOL. I'll do stupid shit for a loony. It's not how you spell loony. Loony is L-O-O-N-I-E. No Y in loony. It proves that you're not Canadian. Ferris says, no, I meant the Jedi live stream, LOL. Oh, good God. That was awful. I wish I would have just skipped the credits. I thought they wouldn't be that long. I thought, let's get these people's names in. They worked hard on this. I just kept fucking going and going and going and going. I was like, holy fuck. Yeah, well, I got the game done, so there you go. BJ says the Jews in Space Spaceship was a great design and model. Classic 1970s and 80s sci-fi ship. Analysis of sci-fi says not a 10 out of 10, but 7 at best. Yeah, I would probably agree with you. We'll get into our my scoring tomorrow. But yeah, but no, I wasn't talking about you saying it was a 10 out of 10. I just seen one person on my Facebook feed say this. I've been a fan of Star Trek my entire life, and this was by far the best episode of Star Trek ever. A true 10 out of 10, he says, and I'm like, did I just fucking read that stupid, or was that actually written to be stupid? Because this is not the best episode of Star Trek ever. By no means. Is it in the upper echelon of really good Trek? Yes. But no way is it the best episode of Trek ever. Anyway, whatever. I forgot what show the transgender was on. Was it Star Trek Discovery or Picard? I forget which one. Does it fucking matter? I'm never going to answer that. Because what the fuck kind of comment or question is that? If you don't know, look it up. Why would you comment that? Anyway. Shea Locomotive Productions. Captain, how can you have a plasma leak from the forward nacelle on an Enterprise? If you know, you know. Yeah, you saw my face when that happens. Got a plasma leak on the forward nacelle. It's like, because they've been hanging out in the Kelvin timeline. Because I don't know if you knew this, but from Star Trek Into Darkness, Khan says something about an aft nacelle, which is like, the fuck? So, yeah, that's what it's about. Peter Lukaku, $5. What stood out for you this episode that made you have the feels? What made me have the feels? Nothing. Nothing this episode gave me the feels. Not one fucking thing. And I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm actually thinking, and there's nothing that stood out to me and hit me in the feels at all. Something that made me laugh, like my favorite moment, was probably Ortegas and Mbaga sitting at the table talking about the two Vulcans. Oh, it's only logical that I arrest your friend. Oh, I'm aware. Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Mbaga's like, no, can't you read their body language? Those two despise each other. And Spock comes out. Sorry, I had to see that outburst. That was fucking great. To give me the feels. Nope. Anyway. There is no forward to sell. Fleet Pa, you're right. I'm not Canadian, but I still know what a loony is and a toonie, and now you know how to spell them. Project Achiever, really missing Carol Kane though. Yes, Carol Kane's great. Goonies never die. Probably the friendship mending between Uhura and Nerys. Or Una, oh my god. Una and Nira. Yeah. Were those two dating at one point? No! Did you not listen? Holy fuck. Had to leave our friends, or had to leave our family and our friends. Hey, you guys. Analysis of sci-fi. Vulcan outbursts are so controlled. LOL, that outburst was outrageous. For sakes. Anyway, when Vulcans have an argument, it's like watching a painting. I mean, you're possibly not wrong. Wow. The Trekyards have hit me. I ate late as well. I didn't eat till like 2.5 hours ago. The first thing I ate all day. So, you need coffee. Fuck yeah. Fleetpaw, if you know, you know. LOL. I know. Were those two dating? Do you even read my spoiler posts? They're quite informative. Are you not entertained? Hypno Amber, Una's story gave me the feels. Yeah, didn't do fucking anything for me. Gave less than 2 shits. Maybe 1 shit. Yeah, didn't work for me. At all. Nothing really worked for me in this episode as far as that goes. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Engineering here. We have a subspace anomaly, a graviton pulse. Hey, that was good. You got to admit, starting the video with that was fantastic. Anyway. I'm done. I'm out of things to say about this episode. Till tomorrow, till our full review. Which our full review, we're betting, both of us, is not going to be 2 hours long. It's going to be under 2 hours. Now, we say that quite often about, there's not much to talk about this episode, and then we go like 2.5 hours. Tomorrow, I'm not sure. There's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of things to cover. But there's not a lot to talk about. It's really kind of weird. Anyway. It was an okay episode, but it's one of those that I don't remember like other Trek episodes. Yes. Fleetpaw says bedtime? Yeah, I think so. Shay Locomotive Productions, have you seen both of her Trek raps? Or way more than 2. She's got like at least 4 now. Yes, I've seen them. I've seen her one about Star Trek beverages. Fucking cough. Alright. I think I'm done. I'm getting a little hot. And stuff. And I'm done with this fucking episode, so I think we'll call it there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I was late, guys, but I did the best I could. Got here when I could, and yeah, hopefully next week has something fucking to talk about. Would be great. If not, well, I'll still be here talking to you guys anyway. And yeah, on that note, hope you guys have a good night. Live long and prosper and all that jazz and peace. Whoa. And by the way, people who do this are fucking wrong. This is the Vulcan salute with an accent. It's like this. You see people do this all the fucking time, and it's completely 100% wrong. But anyway, just a quick little lesson there. So live long and prosper. Peace out. I'll see you guys later. Till next time, I'm Captain Foley.